Hello, this is Mara Jane, and you're listening to The Unseen Perspective. Hello, and welcome back to The Unseen Perspective. I am your visually impaired host, Mara Jane, and today we are going to be taking another break from the Assistive Technology Inventory series to talk about KSSB again, because as this is airing, I just finished with the KSSB summer program of 2024. Actually, it's not finished yet. There's still one more week to go, but I'm going to a different thing. I'll be in a technology conference in Wichita, which I'll talk about in a later episode. But since I had that, I am done with the program. So I worked this summer, so that's pretty cool. And for this episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about that because I've been a student at the Kansas State School for the Blind, at least their summer programs, for a really long time, at least 10 years, more than 10 years, probably like 12 years-ish. But this year I got to work, so that was a big step, and it was definitely a very different experience, but I really enjoyed it, even though it had its stressful moments. So I am going to take an episode to talk to you guys about that. So, like I said, I've been a KSSB student for over a decade, like a very long time, over half my lifetime. So that is, I mean, it hasn't always been something that I particularly look forward to. I think, especially when I was younger, I used to really dread summer school, but then whenever I would go, I'd be like, oh yeah, this is actually really fun. But yeah, I do have another episode, if you haven't listened to it, on the KSSB programs and my experience with them in general. So that would be a helpful episode to go listen to before you continue with this one. But if you have, then welcome back, I guess, to the KSSB discussions. But yeah, it is called summer school technically, or that's what we call it, the extended school year. But it's not like completely school-like. I mean, it is kind of, because there's classes and you go to different classes and learn things, obviously, but it's not as boring, I guess, as the regular school year. So yeah, it's actually like you're learning life skills and preparing yourself, or being prepared to go out into the world instead of just learning like math and social studies and all that. But this year, as I said, I got to work. So instead of being a student in those classrooms and switching around from class to class and being a student and learning from the teachers, I got to be an instructional assistant. So basically the assistant to the teachers, and I worked in the MakerSpace. So that was really cool because I got to spend all day, every day in the MakerSpace, which is like my favorite place on campus. And it was, I don't know really what I was expecting going into it. I guess, like, I was obviously excited to be working with the people I was working with and in the MakerSpace and learning how all the machines work and all that, but I didn't really know what to expect because this is actually my first real job, and obviously it's my first time full-time working at KSSB, because I have kind of worked at KSSB because we have like an espresso bar and we used to have a coffee cart that we take around, so we got to work, like students got to do that and get paid tips. So this is my first full-time KSSB job, and it's my first time having a real job, like in general. So it was a brand new experience for me, and it was a lot. It was a lot of fun, it was a lot of stress, and it was a lot of exhaustion. So, but I'd say like overall it was a really, really cool, really good experience. So I showed up on, I guess, like the Thursday, or I guess the Wednesday before, and we had orientation, and that was like a whole day thing. I spent the night before and kind of got settled into my dorm room, and so we just learned kind of what the rules were, what to and what to not do, and like we got the rest of the day to kind of plan with our team, whether we were in a domain classroom or with a class. We got to kind of meet with our team and plan for the next 3 weeks. And so we did that, and I was with a little team of people that I absolutely love, the MakerSpace team. So it was me, Lydia Moreno, who has been on this podcast, and she's super cool, Rich Yamamoto, and Christian Pewitt. So these are people that I had known for years before, and people that I love and adore. They were really fun to work with, but it was, I think I got very lucky with my team, not only in the place that I work, but the people that I worked with. So we planned on that day, and then I showed back up on the Sunday after that, and we stayed in the dorms, and then started our jobs on Monday morning. So me and my best friend, one of my best friends, Mary Flowers, we shared a dorm room, and we were both working this summer for the first time. So Monday morning rolls around, we get up at 6 a.m., which I am not a morning person, so that was kind of hard, but I actually did get up on time. And at 6:45, we have to check on a group of kids that are also staying in the dorms, just to make sure they're up and ready to go, and, getting their beds made, going out to the great room, which is the place in the middle of the dorms where we gather to go to breakfast. And so that was pretty chill, pretty simple. We both had like the same room of students. It was like 4 students, so we kind of got to go do that together every morning, which was fun. And they were pretty on top of things, so that's good. Made our job easier. And then after that, we kind of went to like the cafeteria and helped students get through the breakfast line and get to their tables and all that good stuff. And then after that, we had bus duty. So for 20-30 minutes, we would sit outside behind the dorms, and the buses would come drop off kids, and we would help them get to breakfast, get to the gym, get to their classroom, wherever they needed to go. And then after that, we started the day of classes. So there are 5 blocks in a typical day of summer school, and it was, the schedule was kind of weird because it's like block scheduling, but it's not like consistent block scheduling. It's kind of more of a, you could have one class 3rd hour one day, and then 1st hour another day, and then 5th hour another day. It was wonky, but we're pretty used to that at KSSB. So so I was in the MakerSpace, and so I got to see all of the classes instead of just being with one class in particular, except for the preschoolers. But I got to see students ages probably like 5 to like 20. So it was a wide range of ages, vision levels, interests, all that. And so the first day we kind of just got them oriented with the MakerSpace. We had a scavenger hunt. And then as time went on, we kind of opened things up a little so they could explore different assistive technologies and make things. And a lot of people love to make things, which means that I have to know how the machines work so that I can help them, because they're not going to know how they work, obviously. Which, funny story, I actually didn't really know. I knew what we had in the MakerSpace, kind of, but like I was pretty familiar with the machines that we had, but I didn't know how to work them. So I kind of had to learn on the job, learn by teaching other people, which was very stressful, but very effective. So that was pretty cool and pretty anxiety inducing at the same time. But now I can say that I pretty much know how the machines work. Like, I'd like to get more proficient with them, but I did learn a whole lot, and I gained a lot of skills and knowledge, and that was pretty cool. But yeah, kids love to make things, so I was doing a lot of that, and they can just be a lot. Students, kids in general, and like in this case, the visually impaired students, and maybe they had other disabilities as well. It was just a lot. Like, I love them, but it's stressful, and it's so exhausting. And even though I was just like an assistant, there was still a lot of stuff that I was doing, because it was just us, our little team, running the MakerSpace. in its entirety for this 3 weeks, and I kind of feel bad because I'm leaving them for the last week, so I hope they're doing okay. Or I hope they hope they will do okay, and I'm sure they will because I work with a group of very talented individuals, so I think they'll be fine. And I mean, it was my first year, so I don't really know how much help I really was, but I hope I was able to contribute a good deal. And yeah, it was. I also got to we did this cool new thing called Maker Money, which is where students could complete tasks or go above and beyond and do something, I don't know, impressive, and they could earn Maker Bucks, and then they could use that money to buy products like shirts and cups and stuff that they could make designs on, which I thought was a great idea, but in a 3-week period, it's kind of hard to implement. I think I didn't get anyone spending their Maker Money until the very last day I was there, so that was a little, and I'm sure they'll be spending it more next week when I'm not there, but hopefully they got that handled too, and I'm sure they do because, again, they're wonderful humans, and I love them, and I'm going to miss them. But, yeah, I mean, the days were pretty regular. It was kind of the same thing every day. Not, like, in a boring way, just, like, there was a routine, and I enjoyed that. Even, discounting the weird, wonky schedule, which I mean, you get used to it, but it was kind of hard because you didn't really know what class was coming next. But actually, there was a schedule, and there was this whole spreadsheet that Andrea Shermer, the kind of director, the head of all of this, made, and so, there was everything on that spreadsheet. There were so many things, so if you had a question, you could probably look on the spreadsheet, and it was there. So we actually made her a t-shirt last week that said, "Don't ask me, check the spreadsheet," and it had a little Google Sheets logo that said ESY 2024, so that was pretty cool. But, yeah, speaking of Andrea, I love her. She's so, so wonderful, and, just all of the KSSB staff are just so cool, and I've very much enjoyed getting to know them over the years and getting to work with them this summer. I mean, that's really cool. I've kind of come full circle, which is, I mean, kind of scary, but because it means I'm growing up, but it's also pretty cool. Being an adult isn't all bad, some of it's fun, some of it's really enjoyable, even though it can be very stressful at times. And the nice thing about the stress too is that you can be stressed together instead of just having to go at it alone. So I had a whole team that was stressed along with me. I think the second to last day we kind of all just broke. It was the change in the weather and we were all tired and all that. But yeah, it got really hot, towards the end of last week, or end of this week, I guess. It got I think the heat index was over 100, and it was just, it was a yucky shift. But we made it through, and I think we hopefully hit it well from the students. That's another thing too, is I get really scared of I don't know, slipping up, I guess, in front of the students, and they'll think I'm not a good IA or whatever. And I think that's a common concern among people who, at least at the KSSB, the people who I worked with, the people who work with the students, is oh no, they're going to catch on that I'm tired, they're going to catch on that I don't know what I'm doing, and they're going to use that against me. But it ended up being okay for the 2 weeks I was there. Like I said, there was a lot of stress and a lot of panic and anxiety, but it ended up being a really cool experience overall, and I was really content with where I was at, and it was awesome. And aside from the actual work part, after school, we stayed in the dorms, but we didn't work. So we kind of just did whatever. We got to cook for ourselves and kind of do our own thing, and it was fun. We went out a couple of times, and it was cool to get to be an adult in that way. It was great. It was very enjoyable. But I mean, yeah, I really enjoyed getting to cultivate my own skills, and not only do that, but to kind of cultivate the kids' skills and help them cultivate their own skills and interests and talents, especially in a creative environment, because the MakerSpace is a place where people can innovate and create, and that's something that I am pretty passionate about myself. So it was really cool to be able to kind of pass that on to the next generation. And being able to do it with my friends and people that I enjoy spending time with was, that made it all the more better. Did that make sense? I don't know. It made it even better. I love my coworkers. I love my friends that I got to go into this with. And even though there were a lot of, stressors and I was very tired, it was really cool. And I wouldn't give it up for the world. And I am very excited to come back next summer and work all 3 weeks, and hopefully in the same place, because I love working in the MakerSpace. But yeah, I kind of just went on and rambled, but there's so much I could say about KSSB and working there and my experience. I read a whole journal about it, but the point of this episode was kind of just to give a brief overview of my experience and what it was like. But for today, I am going to sign off for now. But if you have any questions about that or anything else, or if you have any episode ideas, please email me at theunseenperspective2024@gmail.com or DM me on Instagram at theunseenperspective2024. And if you want to listen to another podcast that also talks about the visually impaired experience, I would highly recommend Discover Podcasting at KSSB. You can find them anywhere you get your podcasts, and you can find them on Instagram at KSSB Podcast and also Twitter at that same handle. And obviously you can find us on YouTube or Spotify. And if you are here, if you made it to the end of the episode, I very much appreciate you. You are appreciated. Thank you so much. And I hope you'll tune in next time. But until then, bye. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great week. And I hope you have a great life. So until next time, peace.